Hello friends, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you've never been here before. I'm Bree and today I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up. Let's get into it. Okay, for July, I was traveling a lot through the entire month. I went to like 3 different places. I had people come here. It was a busy month, but because I was traveling and doing so much, I got a lot of audiobook time in. I read 20 books in total for the month. Only 3 of those were physical reads and the rest were a mix of audio or ebook. And honestly, I didn't have a stellar month as far as 5-star reads. I only had 4 and 2 of those were rereads. So overall, it was kind of a meh month, but there were some good ones in there. So we're gonna go from my least favorites to my top favorites for the month. So my first least favorite book of the month was Check in May by Allie Hazelwood. I gave this 2 stars. I could honestly go on a whole rant about this book and how much I was frustrated by it. It's labeled and marketed as YA because the characters are younger, but I hate that. This book should not be YA. In my personal opinion, YA books should never have spice on them. That's the hill that I'm willing to die on. And so anytime I read a YA book that has that, I will make it known that I do not think so. This book had a lot of fade to black scenes that really pushed the envelope for me and were really close to not being fade to black. There was a ton of talk about sex and actions leading up to sex. There was mentions of tentacle porn, and I just in my personal opinion, 12 to 14-year-olds should not be reading this book. I'll stand by that. Also, the main character was insufferable to me. I did not connect with her at all. I just found her whiny and selfish. I couldn't do it. Nolan was okay. I liked him, but I didn't love him enough to make up for the rest of the book. However, the chess plot I thought was super fun and unique, and I love different romance books besides the same old plot, and so I thought that was super fun and I loved reading about that. Still a 2-star read for me. Next, on to my 3-star reads. The first 3-star read of the month I had was We'll Always Have Summer, which is the final book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. Listen, this trilogy is very YA. It is not bad. I feel if I had read it in middle school, high school, I would have loved it, but I read it as an adult to read with my little cousin who asked me to read it with her, and it was just okay. I wasn't obsessed with it. However, I will say that I'm Team Jeremiah, which I know is super unpopular, but first of all, I feel Conrad was barely in the books. He wasn't developed at all to me. I didn't feel connected to him, and also Belly sucks and Conrad sucks in my opinion. No, and I do not think that Jeremiah cheated on Belly. I think it was very clear that they were broken up. Well, can you be mad at him for still hooking up with someone when you were very upset? Of course, but it wasn't cheating, in my opinion, and I'll stand on that hill. And I really think that Jeremiah, Conrad, and Belly should not date anyone. They should all go date other people outside of their little family group. The next 3-star read I had was We Were Liars. This is another YA mystery, I guess, book. And let me say, I was very confused for 80% of this book. The writing was trying really, really hard to be poetic and lyrical, and to me it just came off really pretentious, and I didn't really understand what was happening half the time. The twist still got me. I was not personally expecting that. I thought it was going in a completely different way, and really the only reason I read this is because I want to watch the show. So we'll see if the show is better than the book. The next 3-star book I had was The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I was super excited about this. I love a Hermione fan fiction, and I heard this one is not as dark as Manacled or other ones, so I was excited to see how I felt. And honestly, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars, like I said. It just was really missing something to me. First of all, there was absolutely no world building. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't understand all these words, and I know there's a dictionary in the back, but there should still be some world building and explaining of what things are, and there was none. The banter was super fun. The romance was fun. It just wasn't enough to save the rest of the book for me. However, I know this is a duology, so I feel I'll still read the next book to see what happens, but overall, this was just not my favorite. My next 3-star book was Our Infinite Fates. I had really high hopes for this one, and a lot of things just didn't work for me. I still gave it 3 stars. Overall, it was a solid fantasy book. However, the middle really, really dragged for me, and the ending twist was unique, but I also feel I kind of saw it coming, and then I kind of didn't. I don't know how to feel about it, but then the ending dragged on for me, and I was okay, when is this going to end, basically? The characters were fine, and the premise was super fun, but overall, it just didn't fully connect to me, so the audiobook was fantastic, though. And my final 3-star book of the month was Dark Deception by Rena Kent. This is the prequel into the Deception trilogy, and I read this first because it was free. However, you do not need to read this because the entire prequel is at the beginning of Vow of Deception. So it was like a waste of time because I read this and then I immediately went into Vow, and it was like rereading the first 55 pages or whatever. So my personal opinion, you don't need to read this, just read Vow of Deception. 3.5 stars, I gave The Night Prince 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. I just needed a little more from it. The middle was a little slow, however the beginning and the end, top notch. I'm in love with Blake. I don't care. I know he's like the anti-hero. I want her to be with him. A love triangle, it's just super fun, and that's my decision on the love triangle. The next book I gave 3.5 was Power Play by Chelsea Curto. I really enjoyed this, and it was a 4-star until like the last 150 pages. It just kept dragging on, and I was like, okay, they're together, they're in love, like I want this to end. I'm ready to move on, and it just wouldn't. And I was like, oh, like just come on. But I loved Sophie and Liam together. I thought it was super fun. I love the found family. I love the hockey. This series is super fun. I think if you love like the off-campus series, you'll like this one. Now for my 4-star reads, the first 4-star read of the month I had was Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I really enjoyed this. I didn't like her last release, but her first 2 books were both 5 stars for me, so I still went in this one expecting to love it, and I did. I thought the premise was super unique. I love magical realism. I loved the characters. I also think like the way it dealt with grief and a parent with dementia was done really well in my opinion. The audiobook was phenomenal. Such a fun time. My next 4-star read of the month was The Thrashers by Julie Soto. This just confirmed to me that I will read whatever Julie Soto writes. It was way more paranormal than what I was expecting, and I really loved that. And the ending cliffhanger leaves it open for more books, and I need more books in my life. I need to know what's gonna happen next. My next 4-star read was The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. This was my first Ellen Hildebrand book, and I'll probably read more of them. I was on a long road trip, and so I started this and finished the audiobook in the first like 3 hours of my trip because I was listening to it so fast. I loved the premise. I thought it was super unique. Honestly, none of the characters were super likable to me, and usually that means I hate a book, but I feel like because I hated everyone equally, it was okay. And the audio was obviously phenomenal. This was just a short, easy, good time. My next 4-star read was Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. I've been slowly reading this like a book a month in this series, and I'm really enjoying the romantic suspense. I will say the middle of this one got slow for me again, but I loved Faith and Lincoln so much, and I thought they had such a fun dynamic, and Lincoln was such a different single dad than I feel like we normally see in single dad books. Like, he was still a good dad, but just the way he acted and like pursued relationship, it was just really different, I feel like, than the typical single dad grumpy book, and I really like that. And the ending twist had my jaw on the floor. I did not see it coming at all. My next 4-star read was The Bombshell Effect by Carla Sorensen. This is the first book in the Washington Wolf series. I started this on audio randomly, and then I just devoured the whole series on audio book because I also read The X Effect and The Marriage Effect. The X Effect was also 4 stars. Both of these were super cute, super fun, super fast reads. The Marriage Effect I actually gave 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Favorite one in the series. My next 4-star read of the month was Amid Clouds and Bones. I honestly was just looking for an easy to read romantic book because I didn't want to get sucked into a super big trilogy, but I was really like wanting something like that, and I found this, and it was a standalone, which I feel like you don't normally see in romantic books. So I was like, let me pick it up, and let me say, this is not a literary masterpiece, okay? But for vibes readers, like, this is it. The vibes were vibing. It was so much fun. I'm obsessed with Attican and Mildred. I went in pretty much 100% blind, and so the whole middle part I wasn't expecting, and I personally really enjoyed it. The ending was super satisfying. It was just a good time. Like, if you were a person who read like Zodiac Academies and you just read for the vibes and for the good times, like, I think you will love this book. 4 stars, super fun. And the final 4-star book of the month for me was Vow of Deception, which is the first book in the Deception trilogy. I'm gonna be 100% honest, I had no idea what was going on up until like the last 10 pages, and even then I still am not sure I know what's going on. However, I love Adrian, I love Leah, and I love Jeremy. He's the cutest little kid. Like, it was so fun, even though I wasn't sure what was happening. And I'm ready to immediately dive into book 2. So, and for my 5-star reads this month, my first 5-star read was my reread of Tower of Dawn. Amazing, 5 stars. It hits every time. I'm a Kale Westfall defender until I die. If you hate him, good for you, but Never, not me, ever in a million years. I love him. My next 5-star read of the month was Chasing Shelter by Catherine Cowles. I got the ARC, and this is the trope ARC. It's the frenemies to lovers. It's super cute. Trace and Ellie were precious. Keely was adorable. The found family is found familying. It's just, everything works for me. I loved it. The twist, amazing. My next 5-star read of the month was my reread of Quarter Silver Flames. I've been doing this for like a year now because I've been slowly annotating it, and honestly, it was so much fun. This is my all-time favorite book. Like, I could read it every year and never get tired of it. And that is every book I read in the month of July. Let me know what you think. Have you read any of these books? What was your favorite book in July? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.